I'm not sure why I have not done this yet. I should have done this like a long time ago. I'm going to be doing a tier list, ranking every Synchron, their viability, how good they are. They're going to be satellite trash or if they rev it up. We've only used a handful of Synchrons throughout the years. They were decently placed to be utilized, but there are some Synchrons that are just not that great. So I'm going to be placing them based on the opinion I've developed over the years while considering all of these Synchrons, because some of these have seen play for a very peculiar reason and some might have been utilized because of a niche sequence, but nonetheless they were utilized. So we're going to be ranking them from level in descending order. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to have the Wheel Synchron. Wheel Synchron is a card that I thought would have a better application than it would. I think if this was like Quick Draw, you needed to discard a card to summon itself, that would be amazing. But it's not the case, because first and foremost, you have to summon it off speeder in order to get the full value off of it. Otherwise, you're not going to be tribute summoning this. I mean, you can possibly find a way to tribute summon this. Like if you pair that with unknown special, but then that means going second special, tribute that, summon this, and then you can possibly summon another Synchron, summon Explorer, revive the tributed unknown, and then I don't know. It's a bit too weird. I don't know. I think it's a bit too niche. So we'll put that one here. It's not completely horrible because there are some things that we could do with it. So we'll put that in too niche. And then of course we have one of the Synchros that is included in this list because it is after all a Synchron. So we have to. And this has been pretty insane Synchro for us because it gives us access to any Synchron that we want. It can get us, especially the ones we utilize the most. So for example, sending a Stardust Synchron has been something that we've been doing for the past, as long as I can remember. The moment this got released, we knew that Accel Synchron can send it to the graveyard. And then we can use this as an extender, increasing or decreasing this guy's level by that amount, sending your Rev, sending your Assault Synchron, sending your Jet, right? And in some instances, you could possibly send your Synchron Carrier because it is a non-tuner. So if you need access to a non-tuner while changing the level of this Accel Synchron, you can possibly use that some way. Maybe summon Junk, or maybe find a way to get back the Synchron Carrier. Because Synchron Carrier is one of the two non-tuners that Synchrons have. Apart from Wheel Synchron can be treated as a non-tuner, I guess. Kind of, half and half. For sure, we would want more Synchrons like this that can be treated as a non-tuner when synchroned with. I think that's really, really good. We'll put Accel Synchron at they rev it up because this is one of our best cards for sure. And then we have Quickdraw Synchron. Quickdraw Synchron, it's too, I would put it with niche because it is applicable in some cases, utilizing it with Wheel Bolt, discarding your cards, filling your grave, you can summon Junk Synchron. It's a bit too niche. It's a bit too depleting. I think it might be a bit better than Wheel Synchron for the simple fact that you can special summon this and then find a way to synchro climb with it, whether it be through the drill climb, we can make Junk Destroyer with it. It's still a bit too niche. I was trying out a list with Crystron, just like tuning, just for the simple fact that tuning can mill Crystron name, and then you can use this to discard any Crystron, just do your grave, get a graveyard, and then find a way to make infinity with this. It's missing its buddy. It's missing Lev Weeder. Lev Weeder was like one of the best things to pair with this guy. If and when it ever gets unbanned, I doubt it. I think that would be one of the best cards that we could play possibly for sure. And then we have Hyper Synchron. So Hyper Synchron saw play like a few years ago, but it was only because we played Norden. Norden would revive this guy and then he would cycle it through and then you make Omega and then you can keep doing it over and over again. I think it belongs in the satellite trash. Honestly, it's not that great. Like it was only good because it was required. It was an engine requirement that facilitated the hand loop variant where you would loop the Omega and make sunset Omegas. Road Synchron is, I mean, I don't think we've ever made this guy ever. Like his effect's not that great. Let me just refresh your memory in case you don't know what it does. When using this card as a synchro material for the synchro summon of a monster other than Road Warrior, reduce this card's level by 2. So it becomes a level 2 Synchron. If this attacks at the end of the damage step, increase its level by 1 until the end of this turn. Way beyond power crap. There's just no reason to play this. So Road Synchron is going to have his GPS towards the satellite trash. It's just not. And then Breeze Synchron. In theory, we were like, okay, level 4 tuners. Okay, maybe there's some sort of applicability, but we're beyond that point because we have Stardust Synchron. And this one's like, this is nothing good. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material until the end of this turn, the synchro monster that uses this card as a synchro material gains 600 attack. Its effects are negated. This is beyond. We don't need this. We need far better things than this. This is not going to cut it. This belongs in satellite trash. It's actually going there now. It's flying towards. That's where it's going. And of course, I think this is by far the best. I think it's kind of tied with Accel Synchron and being the best Synchron, I think, because of what it can do. It's more splashable than any of the other Synchron. When this card was announced, I was like, this is crazy. The only issue I have with this, it's search spell and trap. The Stardust Illumination is great. Gives you an extension, gives you an extender, but I felt that maybe the word wording could have changed or been a bit different, where Stardust Illumination can send or summon as long as you control Stardust monster. I think maybe it would have been better if it said, okay, you can just summon it instead. That would be amazing. Or not the way. Okay, still, nonetheless, it's still one of the best Synchros for sure. It's an extender. It helps you make level 10 synchros because bestials are just so prevalent, and there's just being able to make those high level synchros is why this card is quite versatile, and implementing it in any other deck that isn't a pure Synchron variant, because you play tuning, and then tuning can mill cards from your deck, which can possibly mill lights and darks to possibly mill the Stardust Trail. Maybe you mill a light or dark, you can banish for your bestial and then summon this. I mean, some of the cards that you add off of it, we've tried with Arriving Light, and it wasn't bad. It was okay, but just bricks. It would elevate it for sure, but you would want to elevate the current deck this card is in, but at the expense of a bit of consistency, while giving you access to a bit of consistency. It was like you made the deck consistent, but you made it inconsistent because you were adding the bricks that it required to make it consistent. So it was kind of weird. So yeah, but the fact that this still can be splashed in a lot more decks, I think that's why this is by far one of the best Synchron for sure. And then of course we have our junk. Our junk Synchron is I mean, if you're playing pure, I guess can be okay, but I think currently we need the new support to elevate this card, whether we get an upgrade, whether we don't even require this anymore, but I feel like we might still need it. So I think I want to put it here, but I know it doesn't belong there. I know it doesn't belong there. I think it belongs, it has potential because dependent on the deck you're playing it with, and it has potential because of the cards it has access to, whether it be through Junk Converter, right? Junk Converter is a really nice card for this card. It can set the grave up for it. I think right now it just has potential. I think it has potential. Maybe borderline too niche, but it's still one of the best Synchros because of how it functions with Doppel Warrior, right? Taking into account all these prior variants that we utilize this with. And I think I'm broken, whether it be this or this. It's either one of this at the top or at the potential. I'll put it has potential because of how good it's been to us. And then of course we have Rev. Okay, Rev, this one alongside Stardust, it can be versatile enough to be splashed in other decks, not just purely in a Synchron deck. And that's why I think this one has same placement as Junk, because it depends on how you want to utilize it. It's in a similar position as Stardust Synchron is, but it's not as versatile, because I guess it depends though. It always goes back to the depends on what are you utilizing it for, because this one can be splashed with bestials, whereas this one can be paired with level 4, so it's a bit more not as versatile, but it always goes back to depends what you're utilizing it for. Like with Tengu, any level 4 oriented deck has potential. I think it's a bit better than, yeah, I think it's better than the Junk for sure. I think has potential. Then of course we have Drill Synchron. I mean, Drill Synchron is just, yeah, these are just like, no way. It's not good. This is just not good. Once per turn, when you inflict bad damage to your opponent with this effect, you can draw one card. Like, it's way too, it's just past its prime. There's just no way. A Steam Synchron, I think it's too niche, in my opinion. I think it's too niche because we've tried to utilize this with Calamity. I mean, you can find a way to maybe make speeder on their turn, trying to play around Charmies. Like, okay, just you get the bodies, you find a way to get some sort of Accel Synchron going on their turn. So you synchro during their turn, and then you summon out this guy, and then you could have made Calamity, but Calamity's banned now. So there's not the play. So maybe, I don't know. I think it's a bit too niche. It's not trash. It has, I wouldn't say it has potential, but I think it's just too niche. It's okay. Maybe we can find a way to utilize it, maybe with the new support. But right now, it's a bit too niche. And then, of course, Assault Synchron. Assault Synchron, of course, is not going to be in either of these tiers. It's going to be in one of these two. But I think it would be, and it has potential. I think I'm battling between ahead of Rev or behind Rev. Because the same way, this can pair with Bestial, and this card can be paired with a bunch of skewer combos. This giving the SMSD, the Shadow Majestic Star Dragon, another negate can be quite cool. You pairing it with Stardust Synchron's tribute effect, tributing a Dragon Synchro, and then utilizing this. What I want to say, I want to put it in front of Rev, but I want to put it on behind Rev. It's better than Junk for sure. It's better than Junk because of its applicability. It's more versatile. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna go in front of Rev. Yeah, let's go in front of Rev because its effect is pretty insane. And then of course we have our Satellite Sync. So Satellite saw brief play. Like for a brief moment, it was like, okay, it's decent, but that's only because we were yet to get Assault Synchron and we needed a level 2 to summon off Speeder. It was okay. I think it's a bit too niche. We tried to make it work with Doppel Warrior because that means you can like special this from grave and then trigger Doppel Warrior, give you another form of extension, but I think it's a bit too niche. So yeah, it's okay. For those of you that don't know what this does, basically, if a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you have a Synchron monster with Warrior Synchron or Stardust in its original name on your field or in your graveyard, you can make this card's level become 4 until the end of this turn. And we've used some of those effects, and they were quite useful. Level moduling is what we like with Synchron because it helps you be a bit more versatile. But I think it's a bit too niche. And then of course we have our Pendulum Sync, right? We have Speedroid Wing Synchron. I had high hopes for this until we read it, and it was giving you the lock. The lock is what I was hoping for this to be great, but it just wasn't. So for those of you that don't know what this does, once per turn, you can destroy this card and one level 2 wind pendulum monster card in your pendulum zone. And if you do, special summon one clear wing synchro dragon from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. Also, for the rest of this turn, cards in your pendulum zones cannot be destroyed by card effects, and you cannot special summon except wind monsters. So that lock is annoying. If it didn't have the lock, this would be insane. This would be awesome, but it does. And it had to be balanced, I guess. So they want you to play exclusively with speedroids, which is fair enough. If this card is added to your extra deck face up and you control 2 or more different type wind synchro monsters, you can send one speedroid spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of speedroid wing synchron. So I can force one of the speedroid traps, can get you value, but I think it's a bit niche. It's a bit too niche unless you're trying to play with speedroids. It's not as applicable as the other ones, right? The other synchros that can be splashed into other decks. That's why it's a bit too niche. Then of course we have Performapal Odd-Eye Synchron. We tried to make a pendulum variant with this guy. I think it's borderline too niche and has potential, I feel, because I think that there are some unexplored concepts that I've yet to get to, that I didn't fully commit to, and maybe we can find a way to do it, but it's just, I don't know, maybe I think it might be too niche. I think it's so versatile. Bit of a refresher for those of you that don't know what this does. So once per turn, you can target one Performapal or Odd-Eye monster you control. This turn, that face-up monster is treated as a tuner. Also, its level becomes 1. So the cool thing about this guy was that you can target any of your Performapal or Odd-Eyes and make them level 1, so you can synchro with them. Like sometimes you would have another copy of itself and you have a level 4, because sometimes you don't have the matching levels, so you can like, okay, I can make a speeder now. Tuning, search for multiples of these, and then pen scale, then pendulum summon, and target where you want one of your Odd-Eyes synchros, and then make it level 1, and then make speeder that way. But I tried to utilize some sort of deck with Dark Worm and Symphonics. You can synchro with your pendulum scales. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't explore it enough, but I think maybe not now, currently. Maybe it's something that I have to revisit, but I think it has potential, but I think it'd be too niche, I feel. So I think I would put it ahead of everything else, but then I don't know. It's like borderline, I think. I can see some ways to utilize multiple copies of, that means tuning and search it as a mid scale. So like you have another low scale and, you know, utilize it that way. So I guess I'll put it ahead of niche. I think everything else, I think I gotta place this guy as well. I gotta move this guy up. I think I'll put this guy here because it's ahead of Wheel Synchron, and I'll leave this as it is. But now we're getting towards the OGs, right? The OG guys. We have our 4 Synchron. So this was usually played because we needed to summon out something off speeder. We just needed Synchron to summon off speeder, and this is one of the best ones that we could have had access to at the time. Its effect is okay. Sometimes you could utilize its effect, right? If this card is sent to the graveyard as a single material, you can special summon one level 2 or lower monster from your hand. So sometimes we would summon like a, I don't know, like a double, quibble, inverter, like there's a few things we could have summoned. But I think it's a bit too niche. I wouldn't say it's trash compared to these guys. No. So I think it's no, it's trash. No, it's not trash. It's not trash. It's niche. Oh my god. I'm tired. It's like borderline. This is like the first borderline I felt. It was like borderline. Because it's not really, we can't, there's no way we're gonna use this. It's gonna be cooking in the satellite trash until, I don't know, maybe we get like a synchro that needs him. I don't know. Because even as an overtake target, I'll put it at the bottom 2 niche. I think maybe it's applicable because you can overtake this out and maybe you can find a way to utilize it and then summon a monster from hand somehow. I don't know, maybe. Because with Synchron, you want to be able to preserve your normal. So if this can preserve normals, I think that can be okay. So it's a bit neat. And then we're on to Nitro Synchron. So this one, right away, this is trash. There's no way. There's no way. This is trash. So if this could have sent to the graveyard for the synchro summon of a Nitro Synchron monster, drawing card. That's just like, yeah, drawing one is cool. We're beyond that right now. We are beyond that right now. And then we're going to Necro Synchron. So this one has potential. I think this has potential. I want to put it in 2 niche, but I think it's a bit higher than that. I think it has potential because it can generate you resources, which is what we want for a Synchron or a junk card, that we just want something to generate a resource once you've synchroned with it, right? We don't just want it to be fodder. You want to be able to net something in return. turn as you're sequencing off. And this does that for you. So I think it has potential. I wouldn't say it's ahead of junk because junk, it's a bit more versatile. This requires you to have like a designated deck. So I think has potential, or at the very top of too niche. Potential too niche. I think we're yet to have something that they can summon. So I'll put it at the top of too niche, I think. No, I'll put it behind, yeah, Odd Eyes. I think, yeah, because I think if we get something that we can summon up, if Global comes off the balance, that'd be pretty cool. So for those of you that don't know what this does, this card's name becomes Fleur Synchron, which if you have it in the graveyard, you can overtake it out. On the field or in your graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Necro Synchron once per turn. You can target one other face-up monster you control, increase its level by 2 until the end of this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a wind monster, you can special summon one level 1 plant monster from your deck. So if you make speeder with this guy, you can chain block, and then if you get Bulb unbanned, that'd be pretty cool. Because I mean, you can summon Bulb, then maybe we can summon a new Spore card, right? Spore the Fairy Seed, because then it's a plant, right? So make speeder. So if we synchro with that, we're still getting this guy out, and it can be treated as level 1, 2, or 3, which means we can. Oh, actually, that's pretty crazy. Okay, I might start cooking after this and try to figure something out with this. That's still too niche though. I think maybe because of that, I think it might be ahead of that. Yeah, maybe it might be ahead of that. Maybe we'll see. And then we have our non-tuners. We have our Synchron Carrier. So every Synchron that is a non-tuner has Synchron and then its description compared to the Synchrons, right? So like, let's say all of like Wheel Synchron is a tuner, Quickdraw Synchron is a tuner, Hyper Synchron is a tuner. You get it, right? Third Synchron is a tuner. But the non-tuners, they have Synchron first. So Synchron Carrier and then Synchron Explorer. This one for sure has potential. I'll put it ahead of junk or behind junk. It's gonna be one of these two because it's pretty good because it keeps in mind the weakness that Synchrons have, which is preserving your normal, and this allows you to have an additional normal, which is great. So maybe at the bottom, I'll put it here. I think that's potential. That's potential because its effect is quite good. And there's a few cards that we tried to break it with. Machine duplication. You can just target this, right? Assuming it's impermed or Veilered, you just go, okay, it's from machine dupe, and you still have your additional summon because you summon 2 other copies, and then you can use their other field effect. And for those of you that don't know what this does, during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Synchron monster in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. If another Synchron monster is sent to the graveyard as a material for a Synchro summon of a warrior or machine Synchro monster, while you control this card, you can special summon 1 Synchron token, machine earth, level 2 attack, 1000 attack, 0 defense. And that's pretty cool because it's generating resources, which is what we want for newer support. We want to be able to get value after we've synchroned with these cards, right? That's the whole point. We want to generate resources because anything less than that is just outdated and it's just power crap. Then if Synchron Explorer, I think it's too niche. I mean, I think it's better than these guys. For sure. I wouldn't say better than Christian. I think it's better than Wheel. Too niche. This just summons back Synchron from graveyard. It's basically junk Synchron. And then of course, for sure, Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron for sure. I think it's ahead of, even though I think for what it is, I think Stardust is a better Synchron for Synchron, but I think overall, Jet has been splashed in way more decks. So I think in that regard, I think that's where it's better than Stardust Synchron. If you're just talking about Synchron for Synchron, I think Stardust is better. Overall, if you're splashing in other decks, I think this is just far better. For those of you that don't know what it does, you should know what it does. But basically, the effect that gets overlooked is the first one. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a synchro material, you can add 1 junk monster from your deck to your hand. So that unexplored for many people. But for us, Synchron players, we are well aware of that effect. But the one that you've seen the most utilized is the second effect. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And then it gets banished when it leaves the field. That is insane. It's so splashable. It's so splashable. I think it's great. I think it's an amazing one. And then of course, we can't forget the duties that this guy had to fulfill. And it did quite well. It did quite well for its time before we got Jet unbanned. It did its thing because its primary purpose was because it was a level 1 and it had a bit of versatility with level modulate and protecting your herald from the extra monster zone, which is insane. So basically, let me read it. For those of you that don't know what this does, once per turn, you can target 1 level 4 or lower monster you control, increase its level by its original level until the end of this turn. So there were some pretty niche things you can do with that effect, making a level 4 until level 8, a level 3 until level 6, and there were some pretty cool things you can do. You can even increase its own level, but the main reason we would utilize it for was to protect herald in the extra monster zone. So we would synchro summon a Herald of the Arclight, place it in the EMZ, and then use its hidden effect because no one would read this card in the graveyard. If your monsters in the extra monster zone would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So it's like a Balinx for all you Salamar Great players. You just protect Herald. They go battle phase because they're being oppressed by Herald's mini floodgate effect, where any monster sent from hand or deck to the graveyard is banished instead. So they need to play. So they go, okay, summon, battle phase, attack, and we go damage step. And they're like, what? Damage step? And then you go banish this protect. It was insane. I wouldn't say it's trash because it did its thing. So I'll put it here. I'll put it here above these two. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll put it these two. I guess this, I'm kind of torn between this, whether this belongs here or not. It's better than Fleur, but it's for a designated deck. So I guess it's fine. And then we move on to Turbo Synchron. So briefly, I tried to make this work because it was a level 1 overtake target. This is before we got the jet. So we needed to find a way to make overtake an extender. And this was like the only way to do so. But yeah, this is far beyond. Then we get into the more trash one. Like, what is this guy, bro? What he has a number 1. He's probably the first one in the satellite trash. When using this card as a synchro material, the other synchro materials must be level 4, lower warrior or machine type monster. So like, if his stats weren't bad enough, you tell me his effect is bad too. It's so restrictive. Like, what? Nah, this is for sure the trash one. This is for sure. No way. And then we have our Rokket Synchron. I tried to make this work because it can pair well with Bestials, and it had some niche applications with RDA because you can revive your OG RDA, your Scarred, and then make an Abyss with it, right? And then I was thinking of, oh, maybe we can play tuning. Search this for the grind game, right? This tuning can mill bone, it can mill your vision, it can mill a few things that you would want in the graveyard. I think it has potential. I think it has the potential, but then maybe it'd be too niche. I think it has potential because of the fact that you play with Bestials or RDA. So I think one of those things, I'm torn. Borderline potential or too niche. I think it has potential. If built right, I think it has potential, but it's going to be strictly with RDA or Bestials included for sure. And I think you would have to play this and this together for sure. Because if you're playing Bestials, you're going to play this because that gives you access to its batter. You know, and then change your Synchron. This is probably one. This is alongside this guy. There's no way this is great. If this card is sent to the graveyard for a Synchro summon, select one monster your opponent controls and change its battle position. You can change a Baguska, I guess. If you're being locked by a Baguska. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. So this is better than this one, but because this is bad. And one of the OGs for sure. I remember when this card got announced, I was looking for it everywhere. And I remember because I was hyping it up so much, people just didn't want to trade it to me because, oh, well, it must be good. They're like, no, it's not good. It's just good for my deck. It's just good. And fortunately, it's like a Cyber Dragon where they need to have a monster in order for you to summon it. Kind of cooked, but like nonetheless, it was the best we can got. The main replication was because you were able to special it and then go summon junk, revive a double from the prior turn. Now you have a level 1 and level 2, and you can go Hyper Librarian, and then you get a bunch of tokens, and you can just formula climb. You needed a level 1 because back then we didn't have access to overtake. But right now, I guess I would put it here ahead of the satellite. It's I'm paying you to do it because it did fulfill the purpose, but it's just not. Sorry, I'm sorry. And then it leads us to the final Synchron. This is an OG. It has potential. We've yet to utilize it in the last few years, in the last couple months. There's no real place for it. I would put it in too niche. You could use it. I think I would put it here in front of Odd Eyes, but then I don't know. It's applicable everywhere. So maybe I'll put it at the bottom of has potential because we can use it. Oh, I'm torn. I'm so torn. I'll put too niche because it's too level 1. Yeah, I'll put it too niche. I'll put it there. And then let's rearrange these guys because for sure this is far better than the other ones. For sure. At least this one, you can use its effect. So this effect's not horrible. When this card declares an attack, you can change the attack target to defensive position. When you take battle damage while this card is attacking, you can special summon one monster from your hand with attack less than or equal to the damage you took. So this can bypass a normal summon, right? Because I've made it clear that Synchrons appreciate if you can preserve your normal. Because if it comes to that point where you need to summon, you want to be able to summon your tuner. That's gonna be it. Hopefully you enjoyed the tier placement. If you disagree, let me know down below. And where would you place some of these cards? That's the whole point. But I feel, in my opinion, I think this was correct. I feel like this is fine. But that's gonna bring the video to an end. Thank you for joining me. Maybe I can do the junk tier list. Tier all of the junk. I mean, one of the junks is in here. Maybe do synchros now. I don't know. Let me know. See you guys.